Hello from Docklands for what is the world's biggest triathlon, as well as the only one held here in central London. 10,000 competitors have travelled here to the Excel Centre in London for a weekend of swim, bike and run to remember. Welcome to the AJ Bell London Triathlon. London Triathlon was held back in 1987, and since then the event has made the must-do list of every triathlete, from enthusiast to elite. Right, let's join your commentator Rob Walker to see what's coming up.
With its journey into the historic heart of the British capital and the race along the embankment beneath many of the greatest sights of London, this triathlon has one of the most iconic courses anywhere in the world. There are super sprint, sprint, Olympic, corporate and relay waves. But whatever your course or distance, it all begins at your appointed start time in the Royal Victoria Dock. Distances on the swims vary. It's 400 metres for the super sprint, 750 for the sprint and the full 1500 metres for the Olympic distance. After the run into the Excel, it's time for the bike. A manageable 10k for the super sprint, 20k for the sprint and a challenging 40 kilometres for the Olympic distance. That takes everyone back to Excel for the multi-lap run course. 2.5k for the super sprint, 5k for the sprint and 10 kilometres or 4 laps for the Olympic distance. And it's over the Olympic distance that we'll see some of the best of British inspire us with excellence in the elite races. And in the relay, we'll see Gordon Ramsay and his team swim, bike and run to raise funds for the inspirational work of Great Ormond Street Hospital. And in terms of inspiration, they don't come much better than Corrine Hutton, proving that no disability prevents access to this sport if you're determined enough.
As well as that, I'll be trying to keep up with the weekend warriors as they bring their own brand of unstoppability and endurance to the capital. And getting into the heart of supporters who come to cheer everybody on every year, whatever their motivation for taking part.
Well, first to start are the weekend warriors in their own wave.
Just tell everyone what a weekend warrior is.
It's basically trying to do as many triathlons as you can over the weekend. I'm hoping to do 3 today, 3 tomorrow, but we'll see how it goes.
Why would you sign up for something like this?
It's a massive challenge, iconic city. I love London. What better place to do it than to do it at the London Triathlon?
You're doing the weekend warrior. Why?
I did it last year, just the sprint, and that's it. So I thought it's the best one we've done, so yeah, this one.
What makes you go from sprint to doing as many triathlons in a weekend as humanly possible?
I just think I'm a little bit crazy.
Have you got a mark in your mind of how many you'd like to achieve?
I think it's anywhere between sort of 6 and 8. I'm not really sure, it depends on how it falls. It also depends on how fast I can get my wetsuit back on when I'm wet and hot and tired.
Moments away for taking part in the weekend warrior. Why have you signed up for this?
Oh, why not? I don't know, ask me again at the end if I'm still alive.
And you're the most stylish. Talk us through the red lipstick choice.
Well, when you're going to look this bad, the best thing you could do is at least put some red lipstick on.
Please tell me it's waterproof.
It is, it's waterproof, so you should see me coming out. It should still be on.
Well, Rianne's lipstick may or may not have the stamina, but she and the rest of the weekend warriors will be fired up for 2 energy-sapping days of triathlon. They'll certainly be more than familiar with the transition routine by the time they finish. Lipstick looking okay at the moment for Rianne, but remember, this is only the first of what she hopes will be many triathlons. First out of the water onto the bike is Chris Dunn. He'll be doing this a few times over the course of the weekend.
So begins a long day. See you later.
Feeling good after the first swim?
Yeah, good swim, great swim. Always good conditions at London, great swim.
Bike swim, bike run, which is your favourite?
All of it.
Go, go!
So the way it works for these guys, they have to join in the next available wave when they finish each of their triathlons, irrespective of whether that's a super sprint, sprint or Olympic distance. Certainly a challenge to keep mind and body on the edge. Making her debut in London this weekend is an incredible woman who has been on an incredible journey just to get to the start line.
4 years ago I lost my hands and my legs after a fairly nasty bout of sepsis that tried to kill me. Losing your hands and legs, you have to learn to do everything again, but this makes me feel alive. It makes me feel like I'm doing things that people never expected of me, and maybe I never expected of me, so you get a real buzz from it, and hopefully it just shows other amputees through the charity that there are things you can do. You know, it's really positive.
It took 25 blood transfusions and multiple operations to keep Corinne alive. She's learnt to swim, walk and run all over again. She's clearly an inspirational figure for the charity she now runs for those with a similar condition.
How are you feeling right now?
Okay, I'm nervous now, but let's go on with it. No, it's I'll be fine.
You're going to complete it, aren't you?
Of course I am, of course I am.
Not a doubt in the world, Corinne is ready for her first experience of the Royal Victoria Dock. One man who's been here before is the former Emmerdale actor Tom Lister.
Tom, third time doing the London Triathlon. What keeps you coming back?
I actually love all of the fact that there's 3 different disciplines, because it keeps training interesting. Running's my least favourite, and so we save that until the end. But cycling, swimming, all that type of stuff, I love it. And this event is incredible. Every single year, whenever I come to it, it's so much fun, and all the families coming down to watch today.
Well, this is a weekend where every single one of the 10,000 triathletes gets a great send-off and a brilliant reception as well. Tom is taking part in one of 33 waves of various distances throughout the weekend. Corinne going well in the water. Meanwhile, 1 or 2 have the energy to blow kisses to the crowd. 1 discipline down, 2 to go. The all-important photographs will be all over Twitter and Facebook tomorrow. Here comes Tom Lister, 31 minutes for the swim, looking good.
Tom, how's it going? Swim down.
Oh man, my legs are like jelly.
Bye to go, then the run.
Yes.
Well, Tom's on a run on the West End stage at the moment, but now he sets his sights on the bike course. As does Corinne. Up and out of the water and still smiling.
Amazing.
Here she goes, ready for some of the capital's most famous landmarks. Some will have more time than others to look at the likes of Big Ben and the other tourist attractions. Serious business for those at the front of each wave.
You forget how much it hurts.
Tom Lister clearly putting the effort in here, but he too is still smiling. Meanwhile, Corinne Hutton is closing in on another great achievement. She's climbed Ben Nevis since becoming a quadruple amputee.
There's a lot of people, and I was one for a while, where you don't want to get out from under the duvet and you think you can't do things, and you've got to get your life back. You've got to have something positive, one to look forward to and to have done, and you know, this kind of thing you can do. It's really quite short distances for me, so a bit of practice, a bit of effort, then you know, maybe next year I'll be doing bigger distances.
Well, big aspirations there, but she's still got to finish this London Triathlon. Just the run left.
One more bit to go. We can do this easy, eh? Right, let's go.
She's ready. Meanwhile, Tom Lister's already pounding the pavement, along with thousands of others.
Yeah, it's a good atmosphere. It's a brilliant atmosphere, mate. Absolutely awesome, as ever. And it's not raining, which is always a winner.
And as ever in London, the support is fantastic. Back into Excel once more. This time it's the finish line. Lister has done it again.
What was it like out there? Because you're taking in some real iconic landmarks, aren't you?
It's awesome going down Embankment, past the London Eye. You can see Big Ben in the distance. It's great, they're cheering. That's all I'm like. I'm an actor and they're cheering. I don't know whether they're cheering for me or not, but I'll take it. But yeah, always feels good.
Well, there's always a great reception for all the finishers of the London Triathlon. But in the decades that this event has been evolving, there are surely no more inspirational stories than that of Corinne Hutton. She came, she ran, swam and biked, and she conquered.
So many people out there, just lovely. They're so kind and just pushing you on. It's so nice. Later on tonight, tomorrow, I'm going to feel great for this. I'm just going to be so proud of myself and pleased that I've done it.
As will everyone else who gets that medal at the finish line.
It's been brilliant. So well organised. It just feels a really, you feel like you're with everyone. You've all turned up at the one time. It's an amazing event.
The team events here have also generated great banter and bragging rights.
Healthy level of competition, but we all just want everyone to do well and have a good day, really. So.
I wasn't competing. Were you competing? Oh, sorry. Let's do it again. Do it again.
After the finish line, it's time for Refreshments Photos and an opportunity to be reunited with the family. At the timing zone, the splits are available and ready to dissect. And the recovery zone gives an opportunity for the all-important stretches and warm down. No such luxury for the weekend warriors. It's in, out and ready to go again for them.
So you got 2 medals, you got a smile on your face. How many more do you want to get today?
We can only get one more in. It's only possible to get one more in. So I've got to get across, dump my shoes, get my wetsuit on and get out again.
And how's the support out there for you guys?
It's good actually. It's like really nice. Yeah, it's good. People cheering. It's great, great.
No time for any recovery for Andrew Wright. Straight back to transition and that soggy wetsuit. Well, while thousands continue to pound the pavements, we turn our attention to the 2 elite races coming up next.
Welcome back to the AJ Bell London Triathlon. It's a prestigious title for any triathlete to win, and the elite competition is one of the highlights of this weekend's racing. The women go first.
Well, some great names assembled for this elite women's race. We've got Lucy Hall, Great Britain Olympian, India Lee, who won the Blenheim Triathlon, and Tamsin Moana Veal as well for Australia.
Raced in London quite a few times and I really enjoy the course, and there's always a great atmosphere here.
Well, India Lee will be hoping she can repeat her success from earlier this year at Blenheim, but the one we'd expect to lead the swim is Lucy Hall. She's had a cracking season so far. Can she keep it going?
I'm really excited, yeah. I've done London Tri pretty much every year since 2012, and every year it's a great event, so yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I just want to have a good hit out today, so yeah, I think I'd try and go for a breakaway if possible.
Well, Lucy Hall, who has competed in the Commonwealth Games for England and the Olympics 5 years ago, was European sprint champion last year, and she started in style here.
It's going to be a good race. There's Indy Lee, Indy's an amazing, phenomenal rider, so yeah, I think she'll be one to look out for.
There is India Lee trailing Lucy Hall at the moment. She'll be well aware of the task ahead.
I know Lucy Hall's in the race and she's one of the best swimmers in the world, so I'm hoping I could maybe get close to her on the swim and work really hard together on the bike and then have a solid run.
Well, despite India Lee's best efforts and those of the rest of the field, it is Lucy Hall leading them out of the water. Such a good swimmer. Chloe Pollard has had a great first discipline here. She's not too far behind, but there's a big gap from Pollard back to the rest of the field. And these two may well have an opportunity to work together as they head in towards transition 1. There comes Tamsin Moana-Veal, third in the Halton European Cup in June. And she's also got daylight between herself and the rest of the field. That's the leading 3. Pollard glances across. But it's Lucy Hall, as expected, out of the water and heading towards the end of T1 in control. Really smooth transition there from the Olympian. This is good stuff from Pollard as Moana-Veal comes in towards her bike. Will she have an opportunity to close the gap on the leading duo? Well, it might be difficult if Pollard and Hall work well together on the early stages of the bike. Now comes India Lee. A sizable deficit on Lucy Hall. She was over a minute slower in the water. Saddle just got caught there underneath the racking position. Now we're looking at the wheels of Pollard. And we'd expect her to be alongside Lucy Hall at the moment, but she's clearly got some mechanical issues, and that's a real shame. That will make things difficult for her and also for Lucy Hall. There is Hall with the O2 in the background. Well, with both of them working together, they perhaps would have had a chance to stay away, but that task has just got more difficult for Lucy Hall. There's Lee. She has caught and now heads Moana-Veal, and maybe these two can work together to claw back the advantage of the first two out onto the bike course. Face a picture of concentration there from India Lee. She really seems to have come of age in recent years, and that will be a sad sight for Chloe Pollard. Her problems continue, and she is now being reeled in by Moana-Veal and India Lee. Seems as though the bike's stuck in the wrong gear. She's pedalling too quickly, perhaps as if she's going up a hill. Now, can she overcome these issues? No is the answer to that question. So it looks as though Pollard's race is gone as Lee and Moana-Veal try and track down the long-term leader, Lucy Hall.
Well, I think Lucy will be really strong on the bike. We've ridden together quite a few times and we've worked well together, so hopefully that'll come out.
Well, they are gunning for Lucy Hall, and there is the leader in the distance. They've got a glimpse of her. Lucy Hall is a fine, fine cyclist, but this will be so tough on her own, out of the saddle, really working, trying to maintain that advantage. Lee and Moana-Veal still in hot pursuit. Moana-Veal hasn't taken a turn at leading between the two of them yet. The grimace and all the work is being done by India Lee. And here on the Beckton Park roundabout, 1 becomes 3, and this has turned into a very intriguing women's race.
Welcome back to the AJ Bell London Triathlon. We've already seen the elite women start their race. Right now, they're on the bike battling through the streets of London, while the elite men go next.
Well, one of the big names to watch out for here is Harry Wiltshire, the qualified barrister. He seems to have taken over Richard Stannard's mantle of always leading the swim at London. Mark Buckingham, winner here 3 years ago, getting a helping hand on the tri-suit. And who could forget Buckingham's celebrations from 2014? He's back for more of the same.
I think I'm in a good place at the moment. My body feels good. Back here racing again in London. I've done this 4 or 5 times. It was my first ever triathlon, so it's great to be back.
Well, Buckingham looks relaxed and confident, but he's up against another former steeplechaser and another former winner here in London.
Adam Bowden, you know, 4th in Leeds World Series, arguably the 3rd best triathlete in the country for the last, in the last decade. So he's phenomenal, and he's a mega runner. So, that's my strength as well. So it's always going to be a hard day against Adam.
Looking forward to racing in the London Tri again. I raced in 2012, managed to win it then. So excited to be back because I really enjoyed the event. Amazing crowds. Awesome setting in the sense that, transitions inside, you run up steps, it's a long run in, I kind of like that. My running's still the strongest part, that's where I do most of the damage, but I've been swimming pretty well in races recently in the World Champ Series and stuff.
Bowden a strong swimmer, perhaps Buckingham not quite as quick.
Just been informed it's a non-wetsuit swim, which doesn't really suit me. I'm not the strongest of swimmers, I don't get to wear my beloved wetsuit, but so it'll be touch and go whether I made front pack, but I know the transition's nearly 2 minutes long, and if you run that fast enough, you can make up 10-15 seconds easily.
So here we go. The countdown is on. This is the elite men's race of the London Triathlon 2017. And the man we will be expecting to lead very shortly is Harry Wiltshire. He will be gunning for an early lead here in London.
For me, I know that unless we get a gap on the bike, I can't be in contention for a podium finish. So it's all about pushing the second half of the swim and pushing for a bike breakaway and seeing if we can get a small group of us away working. And if we can get away and we can get 3 or 4 minutes, then I'm trying to race for a podium. So that's not a secret. Everyone knows what my strategy is. I've got to try and go.
Well, Wiltshire has almost been as good as his word. He's right up with the leaders, but it's actually the junior, Will Crudgington, who heads Wiltshire out of the water. What a fabulous first discipline from the youngster. Wiltshire in second, then comes Goodall, Alistair Rogers, Van Stekelenburg, and watch out there behind Linders is Callum Johnson, very useful athlete from the Leeds setup, but it's Crudgington, surprisingly, who's first into transition, and I think, just looking around here in T1, that Wiltshire may have lost a place despite coming out of the water in second. He's not too far behind. Crudgington is away and on the course, and there goes Harry Wiltshire with Johnson, I think, close behind. So there's a big lead group. Surprising that we haven't seen Adam Bowden yet. We're waiting for him and Buckingham. There's the likes of Bartlett and Haines and Byram. Now Mark Buckingham, the winner 3 years ago, and there in the distance in the blue is Adam Bowden, 4th in the recent World Triathlon Series event in Leeds behind the Brownlee brothers, but Bowden's got some issues here. There's Byram. He and the others will form a useful chase group to try and close down the leaders as Buckingham heads out as well. But Adam Bowden has definitely lost a few more seconds on the swim than we would have been expecting. He's going to have to work hard here to close down on the chase group. A couple of issues with the helmet as well. This extra time lost in transition could prove costly for the pre-race favourite.
You take away 3 seconds, 4 seconds in transition, that's big when someone's jumping on a bike and a big group of people are getting away. Then if you're out on the bike and you're putting your feet in nice and relaxed and then people are chasing, you've got a bit of time to, conserve your energy and then get going once the group chases you.
Well, at the moment, it's Bowden who's under pressure and the likes of Crudgington, the junior, who's relaxed after a great swim. Van Stekelenburg up with Crudgington. And on the far side, Alistair Rogers, wearing 489. He's going well. Received a triathlon scholarship up at Leeds, glancing over his shoulder with the O2 in the background. That's the view from Rogers' perspective as he leads this elite men's race at the moment. And the question here is, can Adam Bowden manage to close the gap? He's got an awful lot to do. Meanwhile, back with the leading women, and this trio are heading into T2 together. We have India Lee, Lucy Hall and Tamsin Moana Veal. Which one does the run favour? You would think that Lucy Hall has had her 2 best disciplines. We know she's a fabulous swimmer and cyclist, but she'll do her best to hang on. She is an Olympian, finished just outside the top 10 in the Commonwealth Games. India Lee will hope to turn an advantage on the last discipline. This is a good transition from Lucy Hall, in and out pretty quickly. Just watching, also pretty good in T2 from Lee and Moana Veal. A metre or so for the Australian to make up, but in effect all three will be locked together at the start of this 10k run. Should be a fascinating third discipline here. There's Nell leading the chasers. Lucy Nell just having a minor issue there, getting the bike on the rack, and there's one that's fallen down with Twentyman. And Fenella Langridge has had a really good transition, so she leads the chasers, but they're all a long way behind. You can tell the wind's picking up here. This is going to require some good strength as well as some decent tactics as they head out towards the London City Airport section of the course. At which point will one of these women decide to make a move? Meanwhile, this is the chase group, and there's Mark Buckingham coming through in the elite men's race. Adam Bowden, we are being told, has dropped out, so this turns into a big opportunity perhaps for the likes of Mark Buckingham. He knows his long-term running rival is now gone, but they've got to close down on the leaders. It's Crudgington and Rogers out front at the moment, but the big chase pack are gunning for them, and they're closing.
It'll probably just be on, but if it all comes together, like the pace will drop and people will sit on and stuff, so it gets a bit tactical then. Where do you spend your energy, like where do you use your pennies up? It's different every year I do it here.
Well, there is the view from the onboard camera of Alistair Rogers, but it's what's going on behind him that will make for the most interesting point of view, because the chase group have closed down and now they are all together. Buckingham comes through towards the left-hand side of Alistair Rogers. Good work from Mark to close the gap, but look at this from Harry Wiltshire. Well, he was probing for weaknesses in the water, and this is an instant declaration of intent. He believes this is his best chance of securing a podium finish. He has instantly split the pack. It's Callum Johnson who's leading the charge to close him down, and he is definitely an athlete who could feature if he gets it right towards the business end.
I wouldn't say I really had any really main tactics, but more just a solid all-round performance I'm looking for today, and just to get stuck in from the off. You know, just swim really well, try and stay near the front, and just be in the race at all times. You know, try and cover anything on the bike if anyone tries to break away.
Well, it's all smiles at the front. Callum Johnson has done exactly what he said he would. Thumbs up. He has covered the move from Harry Wiltshire. And the longer they go on this bike course with no breakaways, the more that will suit the likes of the great runners like Mark Buckingham, although he's well aware of the quality of his Leeds-based training partner.
You got Callum Johnson from Leeds Triathlon Centre. He runs really well. Did a session with him last week and he put me away.
Well, here is Buckingham, and he's just making an effort here to give himself a few seconds or at least a clean run into T2. Coming towards the end of this bike ride. Meanwhile, the elite women, still nothing separating Hall, Lee and Moana Veal. Lucy Hall doing really well at this stage. She knows this isn't the best of her three disciplines. India Lee, is that a little probe for weaknesses? Just deciding that she will set the tempo here. And side by side now, Alistair Rogers and Mark Buckingham. And they do indeed have a clean run into T2. This is good stuff from Buckingham. There's that onboard camera from Alistair Rogers. But the quality are right behind them. Rogers and Buckingham about to rack their bikes. And then it's the 10k burn up. So there's no Bowden to contend with, but there is quality in this field, and Buckingham knows that. struggling a little bit with the shoe, and there goes Callum Johnson. He's stolen a few seconds on Mark Buckingham, who's also having issues with his right shoe. Well, it's not the end of the world, that transition, but he has lost a little bit of ground on Callum Johnson and Alistair Rogers. They will be the first two heading out of T2 and onto this run course. And does this give Johnson a little bit of an advantage? Remember, he has beaten Mark Buckingham in a recent training session, and maybe that'll be in his mind. Johnson leading from Rogers.
Just get in the mix, really. Try to head out on the run in a good position, and then be able to use my run, which is my strength, to produce a good race.
Well, Callum Johnson knows this is his best discipline, and he's already dropped Alistair Rogers. But Buckingham is sandwiched between Lindars and Haines, and he is coming. We know all about his days as a steeplechaser. He is a great runner when he gets it right, but he will want to close down this gap on Johnson as quickly as possible. Moving up past Linders. We have that little downhill section, and he's using it to his advantage there. Haines is going with him. Rogers looks as though he's struggling a little bit here. Both Buckingham and Haines have managed to close him down quite quickly. Comes through on the inside in this twisting, turning section of the course, with the XL just behind them, and with Callum Johnson just up ahead. There's a real look of intent in the eyes of Mark Buckingham. Winner here 3 years ago. If he wants to make it 2 titles in London, he's got to close down on Callum Johnson. Meanwhile, still nothing separates the leading trio. Hall in third place here, with Moana Veal in second and India Lee in front. And is that the first sign of a little gap growing between them? A few metres here as they head out for the last of their 4 circuits. And that is, for the first time, a sign that Lucy Hall is struggling to live with the pace being set by India Lee. It's been a good run so far from Lucy Hall. So we have a leading duo in the women's race, and we have a chase duo here in Mark Buckingham and Anthony Haines. There's the London City Airport on the other side of the dock, and there is Callum Johnson. This has been good work from Buckingham. He knows now that he can start to exert some pressure perhaps on Callum Johnson. This is the turn point. Johnson has a little look, and he won't like what he sees, because Buckingham is right behind him with Haines in third. And these three with a little bit of an advantage over the best of the rest. Johnson looks to his right-hand side and his left. Well, whichever direction he turns in, Buckingham's getting bigger because he's closing the gap. And whilst Buckingham is right behind Callum Johnson, so Moana Veal is right behind India Lee. The women on their last lap. And if they are to avoid this becoming a 100-metre burn-up, someone's got to make a move soon. India Lee, if she glances to her left, she'll see the leading men, with Buckingham just behind Callum Johnson. As so far, Moana Veal is sticking right on the Briton's shoulder. Johnson still looking round and glancing. Buckingham's exerting the pressure here. Are they going to share the pacemaking duties here, or is Buckingham going to dig in? Veal and Lee. Not much between them, but they're getting closer and closer to the finish line. And is this a little acceleration here? There's a change in tempo from India Lee. She's asking the questions of the Australian, who now needs to respond. Tamsin Moana Veal is in second place. Johnson and Buckingham back into XL, but remember, this isn't their last lap. Well, the questions have been asked, and that image shows us that Moana Veal has been unable to find the answers. India Lee now has the definitive lead she needs, and she just has to hang on for what would be a great double, having won in Blenheim earlier this year. Johnson and Buckingham. Buckingham just casting a little glance towards Johnson. He looks as though he's the more confident there, and you can just see the lead motorbike in the background following India Lee, so Lee is very close to the finish line. Buckingham looks as though he's really up for this, moving alongside and past his Leeds-based rival and training partner, and now it's Johnson who has to hang on here. Buckingham wants a repeat of his victory from 3 years ago. India Lee was always the one trying to probe for weaknesses, and she has taken the title here in London and done so in fine style. When she made the move, Moana Veal couldn't respond, but it's a great second place for her. And Lucy Hall will complete the podium. A great swim, a great bike, and she really dug in on the run. That was a great race to watch.
I mean, it was a tough race. The bike course is so windy, as was the run. But yeah, I just stayed calm and waited for the last lap of the run and thought I'd give it a go then.
Really special to do it here in London as well.
Yeah, we get to race in some pretty cool places, but racing in basically my hometown is the best.
Really happy. I mean, last year I had a few problems coming out of the swim, so I didn't even make it onto the bike. So to come away with second today, I'm really happy with that, yeah.
Here's a confirmation of the top 10. Lee from Moana, Veal and Hall, and those three were a long way clear of the best of the rest.
Indian Tams were really strong today, and I think I'm holding a bit of fatigue from Hamburg last week, but they were just phenomenal. Indy managed to pull away on the last lap just as we went out of the XL, and that broke me.
So the celebrations go to India Lee. Well, there could be a bit of a soaking here. It's not coming out of a champagne bottle. There's the drenching for the podium finishers, and while they celebrate, the elite men are edging closer to the climax of their race.
Welcome back to the AJ Bell London Triathlon. We've already seen India Lee claim the women's title, and the men's race is very soon to be decided.
Buckingham into the lead with Callum Johnson just behind him. Mark Buckingham, remember, victorious here 3 years ago, looking for London Triathlon title number 2. Johnson looked really good early on in the run, but he's going to have to dig in a little bit here. We know that in training he's had the better of Mark Buckingham, but that gap is beginning to grow, and he needs to close it down here if he is to stand a chance over the last lap. Buckingham, a fierce competitor, and there's a look of determination in those eyes as he pulls away. It's been a really well-paced race. Johnson second in the Tartu Sprint European Cup. He won the Wurt European Cup. He's a quality performer. But now Buckingham has the luxury of looking over his shoulder and knowing it's job done. Excellent running as well by Anthony Haines. He's in third place and looks comfortable for the bronze. But here comes Mark Buckingham, already starting the celebrations. Comfortably ahead here. And this is a great finish. Little look down at our cameraman, he's having a race. There's only going to be one winner there. Champion here in 2014, champion here this year in 2017, reminding us he's a steeplechaser at the finish line as well. Mark Buckingham is the London Triathlon winner. Great second place there from Callum Johnson.
I'm delighted to take the win. London Tri means a lot to me. It was my first ever triathlon back in 2010, and here we are, 7 years later, and one of the world's biggest triathlons, loads of people here sporting, great atmosphere, and doing it on the closed streets of London. I couldn't ask for more.
It was a great effort from Callum Johnson, just not quite enough this time.
I feel like, it was a solid all-round performance, and I really wasn't that too far away in the end. I just didn't have the run speed to go with Mark, but he's an incredible athlete, so I'm really proud to have come second, and yeah, really pleased.
Anthony Haines did indeed take the third place finish. A really well-paced run from him. Confirmation of the top 10, Buckingham taking it by 7 seconds. Haines completed the podium. Good runs as well from Lindars, Rogers, Pollard and Davis. Well, that's the current crop of internationals, but this weekend also gives the future generation of triathletes a taster of the sport. The TriStars Aquathlon is the perfect way to test the waters.
I just saw you warming up there. So on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being amazing, how are you feeling? 8. Oh, so that's pretty confident.
Yeah.
And why did you pick just to do this event this weekend?
Because it's on.
Great honesty there with that answer.
Do you think you could beat your dad if you ever took part in a race next to him?
Pretty close, but he could beat me.
Well, the emphasis with this element is purely on the fun. That's why we've got Tyrannosaurus Rex just helping to set the tone and create the mood for these children before they hit the water.
How are you feeling right now?
I'm feeling like I'm feeling pretty confident with it. I think that I might be able to do quite well in this aquathlon.
Is there a bit of family competition going on throughout the weekend too?
Yeah, me, my mum and my dad, and then my mum's friends, we're just like all competing.
What made you, apart from the importance, and want to get involved? Because one of the biggest in the world.
My mum just entered me and now I'm here.
I'm sure she's actually a little bit more enthusiastic than she's letting on there. Well, there are two different distances in this aquathlon. The 11 and 12-year-olds swim 300 metres in open water and then run 2K. The 13 and 14-year-olds swim 400 metres and then run 3K. And it's great to see children swimming in open water in such a secure and encouraging environment. One or two with aspirations of glory here, hoping to follow in the footsteps of India Lee and Mark Buckingham. Jensen's going well, I'm sure her mum will be proud. What a pace and what a finish from Josh Mayer, winning his aquathlon by over half a minute. Maybe a surname to watch out for in the future. But they all deserve their medals and their hugs from their parents at the finish.
How was that for you?
Oh, it was amazing. I definitely want to do it again.
One thing we're used to seeing here in London over the years is a famous face or two. And here's a chef you might just recognise.
One big rule today, nobody overtakes me on the bike.
Gordon Ramsay, raising money for two causes with his own wave here in London, Great Ormond Street Children's Hospital and the Gordon and Tana Ramsay Foundation. He's taking part in the relay, completing the bike section. More than 500 competing for his two causes. And having completed an Ironman and multiple editions of the London Marathon, his stamina was never in doubt. The famous chef coming home with a 41-minute bike ride for the 20K.
I just want to beat my son. So, yeah, tough, but it's done.
Great to see so many people supporting Team Ramsay today.
Yeah, just under 500, big race and great cause.
Well, Gordon and his son weren't the only ones flying the flag for the family. Daughter Matilda did the swim before Dad took over on the bike, and she has the honours of bringing the family home at the end of the run as well. Conditions getting a little bit windy, but nothing dampening the mood or the enthusiasm here in the London Docklands. Matilda even having time for a smile and a high five. Dozens of Team Ramsay members coming home at the end of a great day.
How does it feel to receive your medal?
Yeah, it's very, very good. I'm speechless. Speechless, yeah. Fantastic organisation, superb. I came here expecting to be the odd one out, and I'm not. I'm the same as everyone else. You know, you can walk, you don't have to have a fancy bike, you don't have to have fancy kit, but it's just good, great fun, and you feel such a good sense of achievement at the end.
And having been the figurehead for the entire wave, Gordon and Matilda crossing the line hand in hand.
Great to see you all finishing the finish line together, crossing the finish line together.
Yeah, it's just that day that you sort of cherish the rest of your life, and it's important for them to pass it on to their kids one day.
What keeps you coming back?
Yeah, busy life needs a healthy attitude, and triathlons keep me focused more than anything.
Well, it really has been a brilliant weekend, and not just for the Ramsay family. 10,000 have competed across 33 different waves, supporting dozens of charities and getting out and enjoying some superb support from the crowd as well. One or two epic sprints for the finish line. Finish line photos to savour. And as for the weekend warriors, they just keep on coming back for more. Matthew Wheel, Chris Dunn and Chris Short all completing 6 of the best this year in London.
Yeah, it's been a great weekend with so many different races and courses. I think I've done 6 races, 5 different courses, 4 different distances. It's been a real sort of variety as well as sort of an enjoyable event. So yeah.
180 completed triathlons between all the weekend warriors, some tally. But one is more than enough for most.
Tired? We've done it. Happy days. Wonderful. A great feeling.
I got a medal!
We're 2 fit, 1 fat, and you can guess which one I am.
Brilliant. Everyone's been great, and the atmosphere around and all the cheering and the music's brilliant.
Amazing.
Finished! Describe the atmosphere as well out there.
Electric!
Well, there is a reason this event has become a must-do fixture on the triathlon calendar. It's been around for decades, and its success looks set to continue for years to come.
"10,000 competitors, 2 elite champions, but everyone goes home with a medal and memories of a fantastic weekend here in London. Until next year, it's goodbye from us.